Just how bad is President Duterte? Watch this video and find out. Welcome back to our channel. We had such a good response to the first video that I put out that encouraged by my wife, who is a Filipina, in case you didn't know, I decided to continue with this subject. It could go on for weeks. So just how bad is President Duterte? The opposition would have us believe that his popularity is falling, and they can do, well, they're doing all they can in efforts to discredit him. I recently watched a video on one of the well-known news channels with a rally that was held in Hong Kong by the opposition, the Yellows, and indeed it showed a huge amount of people turned up to support the rally. But what it doesn't show is what another news channel, which is not so widely known, I won't mention the name, but Filipinos will know the channel I'm talking about. It does show the People's Choice, and they showed a completely different picture of actually what was happening. And the vast majority, I would say 90% of the crowd, were actually calling and supporting Duterte. But that wasn't reported on the national media. So let's have a look at what President Duterte has actually achieved in his first 3 years as president. Well, we know the drugs, the fraud, the corruption, general crime. The fight continues, a long fight, but the president, he regularly calls out on national TV the names of suspected corrupt officials, whether they are in the military, the police force, or politicians. In fact, today he announced that he was going to be calling out the names of suspected police officers who were involved in selling drugs. So we'll see what develops from that. But, you know, he calls them out and he gives them a choice. You either resign your post or you face possible prosecution and prison. So the choice is theirs. Now, the president has also often criticised for his harsh punishments on people who break the law. I mean, I personally believe that the punishment should fit the crime. If you've committed a crime that results in death or catastrophic consequences for the victims and their families, then I think the punishment should be severe enough to deter others. As I mentioned before, I've already spoken about the drug problem on my previous video, so I will not repeat myself regarding that issue, other than to say that the president will be updating a list of police and politicians who are still actively involved in the drugs trade. The scams at Manila Airport, they have ceased, which is a big relief to me, because I know every time I went through the airport I was worried that I was going to get caught with one of these scams. They're just stupid scams that people knew it was a scam, but you could do nothing about it. They would hide prohibited items in your luggage, and then say, oh, we found this in your luggage, which was normally was a bullet. Why would you bring one bullet? I don't know, but anyway. And you had a choice of either paying a fine, which obviously just went into the security or baggage handler's pocket, or you faced imprisonment. So most people just paid the fine because it wasn't worth the hassle and the delay. But I know many people who've travelled to and from the Philippines, and they took all sorts of precautions while this was going on, with extra padlocking, getting bag wraps to make it harder for these people to actually get into the suitcase. I've even seen suitcases that were taped up with gorilla tape over the zips to stop them being opened, or at least if it had been opened, it was obvious to everybody. But that is no more. Again, President Duterte, he warned the baggage and the security staff at the airport that if these scams continued, that they would lose their jobs. And lose their jobs they did, because they continued, and he fired the lot. And no more scams. So that's a big relief. Now, transport and infrastructure in the Philippines. Transport links are being improved. I'm not so sure about what's happening in the provinces, but certainly in the capital, Manila, that has improved. There's been new roads opened and new bypasses, which cuts a lot of the hassle out and the time going from A to B and the stress that involves. If anybody has driven through Manila, they will know what the traffic is like. Awful. But yeah, that is making a big difference in Manila. What else do we have? Well, pollution. The Pasig River has been cleaned up. Boracay was closed for 6 months, as I'm sure you're well aware, and this has been a big improvement. Manila Bay is being targeted now, and that is all being cleaned up. And I know that there are many more projects being targeted for the future. I believe Palawan is another one that the President is considering shutting down for a period of 6 months until it is cleaned up, and also that the hotels there, the same as Boracay, they have to meet a certain standard or they will not be issued with a license. So that's all good. He has also approved pay rises to the military and to the police force, and also war veterans, their pension has been increased. Universal full health care, something else the President is apparently keen on upgrading, so that it gives all Filipinos the chance of getting proper health care. A 10-year passport that's just been introduced, and a 5-year driving license. Again, that's good news, because they were too short before and there was so much hassle getting it, but now it's quite a simple process. So again, another big improvement. Cuts out all of the red tape. There are actually so many reforms that President Duterte is looking at doing that if I was to mention them all, I'd be sitting here for a week, and I'm sure you wouldn't want that. So I think I will bypass that for now, and we'll just deal with things as and when they happen. But in my opinion, the Philippines is an untapped gold mine for tourism in the future and now, and it will bring much needed money, jobs and security to the people of the Philippines. I think the #1 destination for Westerners at the moment in Southeast Asia is probably Thailand, because they have the infrastructure already there, whereas the Philippines is not quite there yet. But with the President, government and administration, I'm sure that will happen. For my money, the Philippines is a far better destination. I think it's a much nicer country. The people are more friendly. So I think it will happen. One other thing the president is trying, he's trying to unite the country, the Christian and Muslim faiths, which I think that's a positive as well. Mainly in Mindanao, where the majority is Muslim. But through negotiation, he has made significant progress. So back to my original question. How bad is your president? Well, the answer is quite simple to anybody who has any common sense. There isn't any bad. It's all good. And it can only get better. And I think I've got one small thing that it is bad. And that's the fact that I've not yet met your president. And I would dearly love to shake him by the hand and congratulate him on his achievements so far. And I would say to him, Duterte, you're the man. So, I don't know, maybe he will see this video and maybe I will get an invite to the palace. Who knows? But I won't hold my breath waiting. We'll see what happens anyway. But the man, he clearly loves his country and his people and will do everything he can, everything in his power to make these things happen. I'm convinced of it. Believe me, there are many, many ordinary people elsewhere in the world, not just in the West, would love a president like you have. So don't lose him. He is a leader who has the balls to make these difficult decisions, and more importantly, he carries them through. So keep him. He's a good one. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please don't forget to like, share and push that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video. Maybe Rachel will be with me in that one. Bye for now.